Introducing Less Raum by Jake Clover, the one person I'm examining. Wow, that's what we have to go off of. It is a emulation of a 1980s computer, Commodore 64 technology. So standard stuff. A little bit special though. This game has 5.8 thousand views and 16 likes, which is actually an increase of the games before this one. So 1.58k views and 16 likes. The description is as such: a strange adventure. Use arrows to move, space to enter, exit ship only on platforms, Z to fire handgun. This was made in Game Maker and published on December 1st, 2012. This is for all ages, no violence. As always, I would show this game to my toddler. This game being Less Raum by Jake Clover, with passing advertisements and a title screen music that sounds like it was derived from the areas in Earthbound that have like the dungeon areas with I guess enemies in them, like you're fighting like a plant, for example. Yeah, a little bit of 16-bit neo psychedelia, I think is the best way to put it. So the press start is the enter button, and we're back with alien language, and we're back with images that come out of a Tron game. This is abstract hip hop. This dude, if you were to measure how many words people would understand from him, be like, oh yeah, it's more than Shakespeare. Nah, you get the reference. This is me starting up the system. This is me starting up my simple gaming laptop, certified refurbished 2023 edition. By the way, is way worse than the last year's model, because they just like I understand we're being transported, but I can't understand. I'm moving, but like you can't expect me to read any of this. That's just the reality of it. I don't know many languages, so I'm down. I pushed X because it told me to, and I can't understand languages that I've not been taught for various years, right? I barely understand most poetry. So I went down. I barely understand poetry, and because poetry, I think in itself is actually another language. I think that is like agreed, poetry. I've kind of brought this up before for the thousands of people. Was that the police? Yeah, that is the police. And I'm hijacking the police, just like Grand Theft Auto. You're clearly not supposed to understand anything that's going on, just like poetry, experimental poetry. Yeah, this game is poetry. This game is art. All games are art. Even my favorite game, but I can't make the joke. I'm sorry, because if I made the joke, it's just hard to make, because I'm just gonna bring up a story game with a bunch of choices. I'm just gonna like call out Heavy Rain, right? But I already made that joke. But not even though I made the joke, I just went cross screen like that. Came from the other dimension. Even if I made that joke, like you would notice, oh, it's like Metroid. You would notice that it's like Metroid, and you'd also notice that, well, it's really hard to make jokes about games by David Cage. Like obviously a lot of people, if you were a fan of Omicron, right, a lot of people are going to make jokes like, oh, you're going to destroy your friendship, but you're also going to make the joke that, well, a lot of people think that there are a lot of comedic moments in Detroit Become Human. The obvious joke being the scene with the bus, right? That game is so easy to make jokes about, and it's so easy, it's like so on the nose. Unlike this game is not like down X. Like this game is not on the nose. This game is of another region. It's like I'm traveling the regional dialect. I'm going from Hokkaido to Okinawa, because the dialects are from the anime, of course. Like the differences between Okinawa and Hokkaido are apparently so massive that you're gonna watch entire anime about why Hokkaido is like specifically that unique. And the question is kind of brought up. I mean, there are multiple questions, right? For example, in the US, would we make similar, I guess, shows or series, literary series, about how different New York is from, let's say, the Midwest, let's say Oklahoma? Probably. I can see one being like, hey yo, I'm a New York Yankee, I just going back to my own family ranch on Okinawa, right? I guess. But also the US is such a massive place. The differences are so much more pronounced. It also kind of feels like we're not really trying to emphasize the differences between regions in the same way in the US compared to how sometimes a manga series in Japan does it. Because I imagine most people involved in anime have probably seen the manga series where there's like it's like farmland, right? It's based on farms. It's like the type of farmland. You know how we have flyover states in America? Probably over in Japan, it'd be like train crossing over states or the precincts. I think, right? There's over 127 to 200 precincts. I don't. Why would I know the exact number? Actually, let's use this as a learning experience. How many precincts in Japan? Administrative divisions of Japan. There are 47 prefectures. So obviously when I said 127, right? What I meant was the population. That's where I got the number from. They're roughly it's not really gonna immediately give it. Demographics of Japan, is that what I want? I'll just go to worldometer. The complement to the speedometer, it's 123 mil. Okay. When I read it last, it was 127, but maybe that was like a different metric. Yeah, see, the 2012 metric, 127, and all the way up until 2017. No, it's my bad. 2015. So am I reading outdated data, or is Japan going through, negative growth rate? Just speaking, using my gut feeling, I don't think this is good. But there's a lot of discussion around that already, right? As many know about immigration and so on and so forth. But back to of course, the task at hand, the actual thing we all care about. Yeah, there are 47 prefectures. Okay, and this is an entire Wikipedia article on its own. Yeah, Hokkaido, look, at the top, Hokkaido. And Okinawa, look at that. It's like the Hawaii of Japan. Hokkaido being, I guess, the Alaska of Japan. An entire whole island just is Hokkaido. One regional prefecture, as it says here. I don't know. I thought... I thought Hokkaido would be just split. But apparently there were no questions about the lines of succession. No one plays Crusader Kings in Hokkaido. By the way, Genghis, how are you going to split up your empire? I'm going to give one to Tamerlane, which is how he would have pronounced it if he were me, obviously. The Timurids, of course, and Transoxiana and Ania. Oh yeah, there's a game going on. I don't know. I'm pushing buttons and nothing's happening. This is either the end or this is like the experiment, right? In effect, I'm pushing everything but escape. I'm actually mashing every keyboard. Oh, F4 is full screen. Oh, well, I don't know something about this game. Maybe that's a hidden experiment. Can you imagine like you F4? Oh, that's my screen snip. Here, I'm gonna make this. Wait, can I do it? No. I'm gonna make this the thumbnail of the entire video. I don't know. Did that work or hard to confirm here? There, you got my GeForce experience. Come on. That's it. No. I think that's the end of it. So I'm going to confirm that it's the end of it. A strange adventure. Let's go to comments. Old deleted profile states, looks cool as always, but I still don't understand a thing. Smiley face. Guess it is meant to be that way, but somehow I feel I'd like it even more if I knew what was going on. XD. And yeah, as old deleted profile said, that's the point. You're not supposed to understand it. You're supposed to like go along for the ride, dude. It's like, imagine a road trip, but you're stoned using certain substances, which depending on your prefecture of America, though, not of Japan, may be legal or illegal. Volando Screen Implosion claims that they love the cryptic. Yeah, cryptologists are paying attention to this game. They got binoculars on. The creepy hour. as opposed to a minute of creepiness. Because if it's just a minute, it's, just the feeling passes over you. It's, okay. It just passed my, left my body like I'm Rocco Botte trying to play a Nolan North character. Whoa, this game is really cool. What's with that green dude that freezes the game, though? Yeah, the green dude. Hey, yo, green dude. That's an obscure reference. No one's ever gonna get that one. It's a Path of Exile reference. Which also references Al Kaiser. Green dude. Indie game hunt. Won't run for me. Unexpected error occurred. SIC parentheses when running the game. And a reply. Got this to run on another computer and it is awesome, mysterious, and beautiful. Happy for Indie Game Hunt. But seriously, we never want to deprive people of experiences that are just mysterious and beautiful. Retsa Games, the ripoff of Retsupre. I'm sorry. Dark and depressed feeling of the game are awesome. Is that plural? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But is that lowercase? It definitely is not. Should there be a space between the exclamation mark and the E of awesome? Depends on where you're from, right? What prefecture of the entire world you're from. But it's really hard to understand and it's not really fun. Well, that name's address is a part of the review template. Graphics are really cool and dark. Smiley face. It's just a really weird piece of art. Yeah, he gets it. It do be weird piece of art. And it's also true. Not all art is fun. There's some art that it feels like it's just like free improv rock music. It's like, yeah, you do be noodling on the guitar, but sometimes you listen to Fish and it's like, okay, it's not just noodling. Instead, they're just playing the same chords with a spooky synth in the background. Jack Spinoza claims that this is sublime. Played it on a night flight. Wow, that actually is like really synergetic if you think, right? Like you're flying in the game and in real life. There's some kind of genius going on here. I reckon that people either like your games or else need to readdress the state of their own existence. Thanks for the games. Thanks for the good games, the GGs. Yeah, this makes you, I guess, frame our existence in a way that is like you take the lexicon, of which definition I will look up. Okay, what is the, not lexicon, study of language? Linguistics. Okay, linguistics. I know the word linguistics exists, but I thought that the study of language was something else. So you take what this game and the game before it, which I've forgotten, hold on, Titan Flux Capacity 2 are studies of, is about, I guess, linguistics. Perhaps that of the English language or that of just languages in general, the earth-born languages that we have come to be somewhat familiar with. Depending on, because some languages are less familiar, some are more familiar. This dude posted a face that is ominous. I'm gonna copy that and make a note of it. Maybe, maybe one without the formatting. There we go. This is Vatsk. Multiple pronunciations. That's an abstract word. Random Creations with 100 score states that they love the aesthetics in there. I'd love the whole game if I just have slightly more of an idea what I'm supposed to do and how it whirls. How it whirls. Imagine the word word, but with the D replaced by the L, or the word world, but without the D. That's another abstract meaning of art. This comment may be a piece of art, depending on how you interpret art. Jilligao states that she's not sure if I quit where it was supposed to end, but I couldn't move and the action buttons didn't do anything. Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. As you see, bloop, bloop. This dude, it's like I'm watching this guy, the green dude, green dude, move with a moving chain link fence, constantly just going downward eternally. And he is bumping up and down with my character, the small robot that you fight in Earthbound, that apparently does just tons of damage. So, if you haven't played that fight, just be prepared for that. Next to what appears to be a rocket ship, the same one that sent a sheep to space. And they are okay with the current existence right now. Up and down. As maybe a streamer, a VTuber would say, boots and cats. The Rose VTuber, because, all VTubers have to have a stereotype or some sort of trope attached to them. They got to be associated with some sort of object. Dude, it's like, again, it's like Signalis. It's the fetish. There you go. Anyway, what I saw of it was really, really cool. Very cryptic and strange. It's another game that kind of seems like it was made by somebody from another planet. The gameplay isn't too interesting, but the visuals and sound are. I'm not sure if there's a story here or if it's just strange and cryptic, but I quite like it. Yeah, pretty much. Like, what can I add to that? Like, yeah, that is the game Jake Clover's trying to make in the year 2012 December, I do believe. And to close it out, was not, why not, leaves us with forgiveness or foreignness. Forgive me for not reading this correctly. Foreignness rejects or invites. Are you looking in or are you looking out? I don't know which I am. Cool game. Now, that's not quite the right phrase. It's good game. But that is it for the comments. And this was December 1st, 2012. Imagine Jake Clover, 2012. One of the nice years of the 2010s, in my opinion. Maybe I'm biased. He just finished his Thanksgiving. Like on the last Thursday of 2012 Thanksgiving. Because I need to know. He finished his Thanksgiving November 22nd, and he went, by the end of the month, he's like, I gotta make another Titan Flux capacity game. I gotta redistribute the effort I made to make this Newgrounds inspired run and gun, and do it with a 16-bit, not even 16-bit. It's lower than that. This is not even 8-bit. It's 4-bit. We got like 24-bit music. This is 4-bit music. So you cut that in by 6 parts, and 1/6 of 24-bit. This is actually the game. 6-bit, 4-bit. It's 4-bit game. Atari. Once again, I keep referring to Atari, and I push escape, but I keep referring to Atari because I have no other reference point. I haven't played enough Atari games, and the only thing I know about Atari games is from like the Angry Video Game Nerd. Less Raum, 2.45 out of 5. By 2 ratings, and of course the same 2 people plus a new memer, Shandy and Mendine, gave this game a 3.5 out of 5. Meister 333 owns this game. They downloaded it, left it at that. Muriel rated this a 5.5. It's a 5.5 out of 10. Okay. That means they liked it a little bit, and Shandine actually rated this really high. This is the first 7 out of 10 that Shandine has given to a Jake Clover game. Isn't that cool? Or is it just me? I'm the only one that thinks that's cool. So I'm already going to fill out the genre here. I don't know, subversive. What is that? What's that game where you have to like land? It's like a platformer kind of, but not really. Subversive ship driving game. That's all I got. Subversive ship driving game in another language that does not exist. Mechanics. Okay, come on. Yeah, they're mechanics, but who cares? Like you drive ship and you're done. So here are your mechanics. You use arrow keys to move. You use Z to shoot to blast door like in Metroid. And space means you can leave and enter a ship. There's also some hidden mechanics. Well, they're not hidden mechanics. There are other controls. Other controls include F4 and escape. F4 for the full screen and escape to end the game. For resource management, there appears to be a fuel meter at the bottom when you're traveling the ship, but is that really resource management? I don't think so. Because I think you just land by the time your fuel ends. Is this game fun? It's fun to analyze. I like seeing that Jake tried to take the whole alien language idea and reapply it again with a different genre. Again, a genre that I just lack the understanding to name. The game itself is just pretty regular, but that's not the point, right? The point is you are trying to understand a game that does you no favors in trying to make itself less cryptic. Which brings us to ease of use. Is this easy to use? No. This game is really cryptic. I think it's not really obvious what you're supposed to do. For graphics, it's Atari. It's Atari graphics. What else can I Again, I don't have any more I can say on that. I'm not a graphical main. I barely know what graphics card I'm using right now. For appearances, I could tell that there is a chain link fence constantly going down in front of every single occurrence on screen. There are aliens and robots. There are ships that you drive or pilot. There are docks and shipyards for the ships. There's also, I guess, the fuel gauge. I guess that counts. For the soundtrack, it's like one of those dungeon areas in Earthbound using 16-bit neo psychedelia music, which I misspelled. For sound design, I don't remember. I think when you shot the gun, there's a sound, and there's probably a sound for the ship's boosters. For the story, it's really about the player trying to read an alien language. It's not like you can't possibly decrypt the story in the game. So the story is actually about you, the player, which I guess it's meta. Another meta, yet another meta masterpiece. Is it repetitive? I'm gonna say no, but nothing happens as well. So I mean, it's uneventful. This is not a word. Is uneventful not a word? No, that's a word according to the American Heritage Dictionary of the English Language 5th edition. So it went through four cycles before it was like, they still thought uneventful was a word. Where does it stand in a wider scheme? So this game is a little bit of an experiment, so to speak, because I don't know if it's a true experiment. I don't know how many people would say this game is avant-garde. It is a little bit of an experiment in understanding language in video games. I think I just said that. I think what could be done better is making more obvious cues for inventory items, because the game seemed to be telling me to use the letter X to open the inventory, and I just had no idea what I was supposed to do. Look at this. I just opened that. Apparently, okay, I'm sorry. Let me finish this. It was telling me X to open the inventory, and I didn't know what inventory item I was supposed to open or use while driving the ship. Anyway, this is the snipped screenshot. It was saved in the same folder I have the game executable in. Wow, memories. Remember that time when I was driving through a bunch of tunnels, like going the speed of light, like in Cowboy Bebop, and then at the end we just sat there watching. I don't know. Can I say chain link again? Watching a chain link go up to down, because how many times can you hear the word chain link and then it's like, man, I'm just done. I'm done hearing that word for the last week. So where does this game, what's this game called again? Less Raum. Yeah, where's this game Less Raum stand in the wider scheme of the work of the developer? It is the language experiment continued, and it also has more views than Titan Flux Capacity for some reason, which is just strange, but also warrants the comparison because of the language experiment. Simply put, look at this. So Titan Flux Capacity 1.6K, Less Raum 5.8K. What happened? Maybe some Let's Player recorded themselves playing it and people just wanted to check it out. Oh, that's strange. But yeah, this is the language experiment continued, understanding the role of language in video games. I think it was Rasputin, what casual games are like for someone who doesn't play games. Hopefully I can just like click on this and it's okay. Okay. What casual games are like for someone who doesn't play games. I think this is what Jake Clover is trying to get at. Like kind of beyond the, this guy really got sponsored by, never mind. What I think this game is obviously deconstructing is, if deconstructing can be applied here correctly, it's deconstructing what casual, no, I'm sorry. Mixing myself up. Look at me, I'm a mess. Deconstructing the role of language in video games, but also what games are like for people who don't play games and cannot understand the language in game. So maybe, for example, what's a good one? Like area of effect. If you play all sorts of video games, might seem obvious what area of effect is, but you wouldn't necessarily know if you are a very new gamer that area of effect is a reference to how wide or the radius of your skill is. I guess the effect of the skill is. Like, I guess you have to it doesn't seem immediately obvious. I guess if you really think about, the area of effect, oh, this is how wide the area of effect is. That's just the most immediate example that comes to mind. I guess like maybe you're watching a Dota 2 tournament and you hear the commentators refer to BKB and you got to look up Black King Bar, and then you see magic immunity, and then you have to learn what magic immunity is, and then you learn that some skills are unaffected by magic immunity, which is to say that they go through magic immunity. Yeah, it's like that. There's an entire, to quote a sort of report by some sort of newspaper on the international, the Dota 2 international, learning games can be kind of like a second language. Not truly, obviously, because it's building upon the language of the players, but there do be a lot of terms you have to learn in addition to what is already the English language. Wow. Good games equals GG's. Because that's all I got. I mean, I think I dissect this. Right? I think that's a decent dissection. I don't know. Someone out there's gonna be like, bro, you didn't even try to make the 3-hour Witcher 2 video. And I think it's actually 5 hours. So I wouldn't be able to do that either. That's my, this is my video essay, guys. The quickest video essay. One of my teachers actually did say an essay is basically an outline. They didn't say that directly, but they like implied it, that an entire essay is built upon the outline. And in a similar sense, yeah, like, is this outline simply the skeleton of an essay? One may agree with that claim. One may nod their head in approval. And as such, this is my video essay. But I stripped it down. This is the TLDR version. GG's, good games. Wow. Wait. Realm Night Fever. Speaking of which, what does Less Raum mean? Like less RAM, but not really. It's clearly not about the hardware of RAM. Okay, whatever. Okay, yeah. There we go. GG's, good games.